And welcome back. It is the 8th of July as we roll toward the conclusion of the first week of this month of July 2010. Gerald Celente is with us right now. And Gerald, of course, the world's #1 trends forecaster. His website is trendsresearch.com. I urge you to subscribe to his newsletters. He is more than prescient. He is amazing. And you can see a lot of videos of Gerald on his website as well, but I think it's more fun, frankly, to listen to him right here. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hey, Jeff. Thank you. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm not fine, but I'm still here.
Well, you know, life goes on. We have to live what we have right now. Boy, and I know it's really hard for a lot of people out there, and I'm hearing one terrible story after another.
Oh, it's the truth.
It's just so heartbreaking. The only suggestion I can make, and having been in tough times myself, is make sure you have a network of like-minded people and people that care for you, and just try to stay as close to them as you possibly can, and try to do your best to work together to stay above what's happening.
You know, the saddest thing about the stories I hear, I'm trying to think right now, I don't know that I've heard from anyone yet who actually has food and provisions put away that they might be able to take with them. There are a lot of people leaving the Gulf Coast. You know this. You people out there know this. They're quietly moving. The government does not want martial law. It does not want to panic. It's going to continue to lie about the air quality, which is deadly. People are dying right now as we speak in slow increments. Their lives are being shortened. They don't want to panic, so they're going to lie. That's their approach to it.
Jeff, what we're looking at, as you know, with our economic forecasts, we're forecasting the greatest depression.
Absolutely.
Warren Buffett said today that the economy is recovering. We say it's not. Warren Buffett has a lot to lose, and so he's trying. He even said the words that President Obama has to keep pumping up the confidence. Yeah, confidence. Break the word up. Confidence.
Yep.
Confidence man.
Yep.
Con man. Yep. You know, I'm not making this up. That's what it means.
Sure it is.
And so we know that the greatest depression is at hand. And what's going on in the Gulf could be the equivalent of the Dust Bowl of the Great Depression. We're looking at the same analogy. However, this one is far worse than the Dust Bowl.
People didn't die on the side of the road from inhaling the dusty air. The VOCs and the gases, Gerald, you're probably more eminently familiar with all of this than anyone I know, are killers. And the first and only story I saw about air quality monitoring and management and revelations was on a little Louisiana TV station, and it was very early on in this disaster. The permissible parts per billion for benzene are 0 to 4. The air quality at that time, 3,400 plus parts per billion. This is astronomical. These people are dying. Benzene is a deadly carcinogen, and that's just one of the many VOCs that are all over the air and being breathed by people. Look at the plants, folks. You go to my site, look at the top of the homepage. I'm very proud of the work we're doing. We're covering this extremely thoroughly and carefully. There's a lot of junk stories out there. There are a lot of very good stories out there, and we're trying to bring the best of the best to you. Gerald, go ahead, please.
Well, we're going to be putting out a white paper by Dr. Robert Schoch, who's a geologist, a renowned geologist. Actually, his work, he's noted for proving that the weathering at the base of the Sphinx is 10,000 years older than previously dated. And the importance of that is that we weren't hunters and gatherers back in 10,000 BC. They date the building of the Sphinx officially at 2500 BC. But the weathering proves that it predates the Sahara, which means it has to at least be 10,000 years old. He's doing a white paper, it should be out in a couple of days, on what this oil disaster really is. I love the words they use. A spill. You know, like you just tipped over a cup of coffee at Starbucks. You know?
Every journalism outlet, every media outlet, every alleged journalist who uses oil spill should be summarily fired.
Really, well, what a travesty. But as you said, what they're trying to do is to cover this up and not to create the panic that it's going to happen. And the long and short of it is what we're seeing on TV with that one little pipe that they show the oil spewing out of there. It's much greater than that.
Sure it is.
There are splits and fractures, and this is devastating, and it could go on for a very, very long time. So we're going to be issuing a white paper on that very shortly. And it's everything. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, nor am I an Armageddonite. However, these people that are talking about 2012 being the final, the end of the Mayan calendar, and the beginning of the end, boy, they're starting to get some credence. In my book, you just start adding these things up.
Yeah, right.
We have this disaster that there's no end in sight. And then we have an economic disaster on top of that. And then we have a high probability that they're going to lead us into war. And maybe, let's throw into that, Jeff, hey, how about another nuclear Chernobyl or two from these rotted, decrepit nuclear power plants? And plus, of course, Obama's alternative energy, he's putting another $54 billion into building more nuclear. Oh, but this time safe nuclear. Oh, yeah, like safe offshore drilling. I know that one. So you start adding all the man-made disasters and then throw on maybe a couple of natural disasters. And we have a real probability that's not so far-fetched that the end may be sooner than we think.
I concur with you. At the very least, the 2012 profiteers are laughing their way to the bank. They're going to be selling DVDs, books, there'll be movies out, more of them. You watch. They're going to capitalize on this, just like the government is capitalizing on the BP oil volcano. They're making money on it. Halliburton's making money on it. We've been through this before. You know the routine. By the way, the ex-CEO of Shell Oil says these so-called relief wells, and there are two of them coming in from opposite sides, have at best a 50-50 chance of some success. They're not going to work. What they're really doing, in my opinion, Gerald, is it's a contingency drill, and they're going to try and see if they pull any of this oil out of there, but at 50 to 100 pounds PSI, or 1,000 pounds PSI. 70,000 pounds PSI is so over the top just in and of itself, it's not going to work. I think they're drilling these for pre-positioning shaped thermonuclear charges. The Russians have done this 4 or 5 times on land and were successful in all except the last attempt. They were not successful with that one. They believed that the charge was in the wrong place.
Yeah, but underwater is a whole other thing.
Whole other thing. The geology down there is not the same as land.
You're going to appreciate this. Of course, we all know of George Carlin, the late George Carlin. Well, Patrick Carlin, who George Carlin used to call his wiser and older brother, is going to be doing trends pieces for us. This guy's a riot.
Oh, really?
And one of the ones we're going to be putting it up on on our website, trendsresearch.com. I'm doing trends in the news, and we haven't come up with a name yet for what Patrick is doing, but he's off the charts. And we're going to be doing one on nuking the oil volcano, and and we're coming up with some of the routine. In that, hey, you have enough mercury in your fish. How about some enriched uranium?
There you go. Well, the oil already is
like
radioactive.
They enrich it with vitamin C, a little enriched uranium.
Sure.
So he's going to be doing trends in the news, trends features for us as well. So we're trying to put, the lighter side of the stupidity on top of all of this. And sometimes comedy is the best way to show how ludicrous it all is. So Patrick Carlin will be doing trend features as part of our ongoing trends in the news features.
Very good. The English team, John Clark, one of them, and that dry wit of theirs, there's a very funny exchange. He is in the featured story box. John Clark's spin on the BP crisis, you might want to take that in because, as Gerald says, a little humor once in a while makes this a little more tolerable. No, you're not a conspiracy theorist, Gerald, neither am I. We are conspiracy researchers, because these things are, in fact, conspiracies. A conspiracy, by definition, is two people agreeing to do something surreptitiously and quietly and furtively. That's a conspiracy. And what we do is try to pull these things apart for you people to better understand what's going on. Be right back with Gerald. Maybe we'll kick this nuclear football around a little bit and see what we get next as we continue. Okay, and we're back. The stories get stranger and stranger. More and more reports of oily, filmy, greasy-looking rainwater. Let's see. This is from the Minot, North Dakota Daily News. Columbus. I assume that's also North Dakota. Normally, the 4th of July weekend at Short Creek Dam is a